Hey everybody, it's Christine up today with Simple Stories using their simple set called Stars, Stripes, and Sparklers. And don't ask me how many takes it took me to say that properly. That is a name that is challenging apparently for me to say. So, I am going to keep things simple. It's a simple set. There's not a lot of stuff to it. And so I'm going to continue that trend by using one of their page templates, keeping things simple even more. So I pulled out the page template that is a grid style, and it's for 3x4 size photos. I had lots of 4th of July pictures, actually from almost 5 years ago when we moved here. I had no idea I hadn't scrapped these already, and I was looking through and realized, okay, there's some I have not used, and there was a lot of really cute ones. Understandable though, because we had moved in like a couple weeks before that, so things were busy. So I'm filling in the grid using that, and I left one spot open because I only had 5 photos. The next thing I'm going to do is take this striped paper, and I am going to cut it along the stripes, and not going to cut it super thin stripes, but I am going to cut it up completely. On the reverse side is a red and white star paper. So what I'm going to use is both sides of it to create some stripes on my background. And that is just a really easy way to take a simple set and a page template and make your page look more complicated. Figure out something cool to do in the background and take it up a notch. So by simply cutting these stripes out, and then I will re-adhere them and add a little dimension to them, I am able to take what's simple and make it harder. So I'm going to tell you my actual time spent creating this entire layout was 25 minutes. So that tells you right there how simple it was. Probably at least 10 of those minutes were spent cutting and adhering stripes. So I love that. I went in, I was in a crunch for time. I knew I have an hour. I've got to knock this out. I've got to get it photographed and ready to roll. And so that really was enhanced by using the page template and using a simple set instead of using an entire collection. And so, when you're tight for time, look to simplify things just a little bit. It doesn't mean it's not going to still be beautiful. It doesn't mean anything other than that you're simplifying things. And when you have time to do the more complicated stuff, then go for the more complicated stuff. So you can see I'm putting those things on there. I love the shade of blue on this, and the red too. Really, I like that it's vibrant. It's not at all vintagey feeling. I just like the colors a lot. I also like that this collection includes some aqua blues, both a light one and a darker one, and a really bright, bold yellow. So lots of really cool colors in this, and you can go super duper bold, or you can opt for some of those aquas and the blues and make things a little more chill if super duper bold is not your look. For me, I kind of bounce between the two. So also, apparently, I'm really struggling to talk tonight. It's the end of a long weekend, so you're gonna have to just humor me for all of my misspeaks and such. So got all that started. I'm not going to make you sit here for the whole thing, so I will speed ahead, but you can see that I am pulling up the bottom edge just to add some added dimension. Another way that can be achieved is just by running your scissors along it. I just always seem to tear my paper when I do that, so this way always works well for me. Now you can see I've got it all on there, and the background looks fantastic. Now, if I had left the stripes just totally flat, still would have been pretty cool, but I really think by pulling them up, it just adds something special. Now, because I pulled them up, I've got dimension already, and that means that my picture grid from the page template is not going to lay flat. So I'm going to take some 3D foam tape, and I am going to run it across the stripes here. Obviously, I'm not measuring. I'm just approximating how much I need, and I am gonna just get it where I know I need it. And I can throw some little pieces of 3D foam adhesive underneath if I need to add a little bit more. But you can see then it will lay flat because I've evened it up with the dimension. And there's not a real easy way to avoid this, just because I do want the dimension throughout. In particular, I want it on those outside edges. So if I flatten the middle, I may lose it on the edges. And so I didn't want to do that. You can see I also have pulled out the 3D foam strips, which are thinner, just to cover my top edges a little bit, because I knew the tape would be too tall in height for me to put it there. So I just used the little 3D foam strips. And getting all of those on there, obviously a little bit time consuming, but now I've got that on there. And I do want to point out, in that empty 3x4 rectangle on my grid, I added a cut apart card from the collection. And I intentionally picked one that had the aqua blue color in it because I wanted to bring that color into the whole thing. So that worked perfectly. So don't feel like when you look at those page templates, oh, well, I only have 4 pictures or whatever. You can totally make it work, whether it's by just adding patterned paper or if it's adding in elements like cut apart cards or doing a little bit of collage work with stickers. Don't feel bound to the exact number of pictures on there, because there is always a way to make it work. And oftentimes, I'm going to be honest with you, it kind of makes it look even more cool when you do other stuff with it. Versus 6 full photos, I would have had to work a lot harder to get a title and all that stuff on there. And so, you know, don't hesitate to mess around a little bit with things like that. Now, what I'm doing right now is trying to bring in my yellow. So I have punched out some stars, both some bigger ones and some smaller ones, and I'm just trying to figure out where those will work. Stars are a little bit tricky in that if you tuck in too many of the tips, then it doesn't really look like a star anymore. It's not like a heart or a circle where if you tuck it in a little bit, you still know the basic shape. I feel like stars get a little bit wonky if you tuck too much. So definitely am looking at that and considering it. I do really like the look of the big stars, but we will just kind of have to see where it lands. I'm also looking at how I can use the stickers on this at this point. So you can see I'm adding stickers both to the top right corner and the bottom left corner. Now, one of the things that ended up really surprising me about this layout is that I was really expecting it to be clean and simple. It did not turn out clean and simple. Simple still, really, honestly, it's really still pretty simple. But clean, no, not even a little. Like, there is stuff all over this layout going on. And I did try to keep most of the additional stuff within my grid so that it didn't get overwhelmed with the patterned paper. But I was surprised like how much went onto this layout by the time all was said and done. Now, one of the things that does help to keep it still having some clean lines to it is that it's the grid style. And the background, although busy, is striped. So some of those straight lines definitely help to keep things from being too over the top in busyness, because definitely the background is busier than you see me create all the time. I generally have a little more white space going on in my layouts. Now, I am going to tell you, I kind of hit a point here where I was a little bit stuck. And so what I ended up doing was stepping away and then turning off the camera, and I forgot to record the very end. So you have seen at the beginning, and you'll see again at the end what it looks like. But I will tell you what I ended up doing was adding in the USA sticker from the sticker set within this simple set to the middle of my grid, middle right. It runs along the horizontal middle line and then over to the right. And that ended up really being the perfect final touch. But I had to walk away for a little while just to think about it, because as I mentioned, it's getting kind of busy. So I don't want it to be too much. And sometimes when I feel like, I'm not sure if I like this direction or not, the best thing I can do is walk away for an hour or overnight or something and just let it sit. And when I come back, if I love it, then I know it's a good sign. And if I don't, then I know it's a bad sign and start tearing things apart. But you can see here how I've got the USA on there, how I was able to work in the big yellow star as well as the little yellow stars trickling up the layout as well as across the layout. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to hit subscribe if you aren't already a subscriber here and you're enjoying my videos. I'd love to have you as one. And be sure to head over to Simple Stories and check out the close-ups on this layout. We'll see you again next time.